There are people in your life who dislike you for no clear reason. They talk about you quietly. They feel irritated by your presence. Sometimes, they even hope you fail. And the strange part is this. You didn't betray them. You didn't insult them. You didn't do anything wrong. This kind of hatred isn't personal. It's psychological. The first reason people can hate you without cause is simple. Your self-respect exposes their lack of it. You don't beg for attention. You don't overshare your pain. You don't stay where you're disrespected just to belong. You say no. You walk away. And to someone who constantly abandons themselves, that feels offensive. Not because you judge them, but because your behavior quietly says, I refuse to live the way you live. That message hurts more than insults ever could. So, instead of reflecting, they rewrite the story. They call you cold. They call you arrogant. They say you think you're better than everyone. You don't. You're just better to yourself. And to someone who survives by betraying their own needs, that feels like an attack. The second reason is your growth. Your growth threatens their comfort. People love you when you're struggling. They support you when you're trying. They cheer when you're dreaming. But the moment you actually improve, the room changes. You start thinking clearly. You stop explaining yourself. You move differently. The jokes stop landing. The support becomes passive. The energy shifts. Why? Because growth creates comparison, and comparison creates discomfort. Strangers don't resent your progress. People who knew your old version do, because your evolution forces a question they've been avoiding. What have I been doing with my life? Instead of answering honestly, they choose resentment. They minimize your effort. They downplay your success. They say you've changed. Of course you changed. That was the point. To them, your growth feels like betrayal. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped matching their stagnation. The third reason is more subtle. Your authenticity disrupts their performance. Most people are acting confident, acting happy, acting like they know who they are. Then you show up real. You don't fake enthusiasm. You don't agree just to be liked. You don't pretend to be smaller than you are. And without saying a word, you expose the mask. That doesn't inspire everyone. For some people, it destabilizes them, because now they have to perform harder, smile longer, pretend deeper, and that's exhausting. So they label you intense, too serious, too different. What they really mean is, you make me uncomfortable because I'm not honest with myself. Here's the truth most people never accept. If nobody dislikes you, you're probably living very safely. Not truthfully. Not courageously. Just safely. Living with integrity doesn't make you universally loved. It makes you selectively respected and quietly resented. And once you understand this, something changes. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop negotiating your peace for approval. Because you realize their dislike isn't a signal to fix yourself. It's evidence you're standing correctly. You weren't rejected. You were revealed. This isn't permission to become arrogant. It's not an excuse to isolate yourself. It's a reminder to stay grounded, stay kind, and stay firm. Let people misunderstand you. Let them project. Let them walk away. Because clarity is more valuable than popularity. Some nights will feel lonely, not because you lack people, but because you outgrew the version of yourself they were comfortable with. That loneliness isn't a punishment. It's a signal. You're finally standing on your own spine. That's your everyday reality check. Insight isn't optional, it's necessary. Subscribe to Everyday Reality Check because someone had to say it.